Okay, today we are going to begin filling out our note catcher to analyze the effects and technique that both the book and the audiobook use to convey both tone and emotion. Ms. King has highlighted the portion of your note catcher that we are going to do together on this video. So before we even begin analyzing the effects of these techniques, we need to find our example. So we need to head into this box and find an example. Ms. King has already pulled an example from page 100. "My father," he shouted, "they have found my father." So we've already heard how the audiobook showed the effect of this emotion or tone, and we have already read this in the book as well. Our first step before we even analyze these techniques, before we even determine what techniques are being used, is to find our example. Once we have found our example, we need to determine if this emotion is emotion, so this is coming from the character, or this is tone. And if we head back into our mood and tone anchor chart, we see that tone refers to the author's attitude. So that's a pretty key thing right here. So does this refer to, or is this showing or conveying the character's feelings, or is this conveying the author's feelings? Well, I know in this section of the book that it is Salva who is excited to see his father. So I'm going to say that that is the emotion of our character. So we're going to highlight this in blue since we've already highlighted this entire row in yellow. Now we're going to start with the book. How does the book or the author show this effect, so this emotion in the novel? Well, looking back at my example, I see these exclamation marks, I see this dialogue tag, and I see another exclamation mark. So it is the punctuation that is showing me the effect. So we're going to write punctuation or words that describe how something was said. So this first portion right here refers to these exclamation marks, and this little portion refers to this "he shouted" right here. They're also called dialogue tags. So we can put that in here as well. All right, so now we have determined the technique that the book used. Now we need to determine the technique that the audio used. And we listened to this yesterday. If you need a refresher, you would listen to it again. Ms. King just re-listened to it. And I remember that the reader was reading faster. He got a little bit more excited. The volume went up in his voice. So that's what I want to say here. The technique that our reader used in the audiobook was reading faster and louder. So here we now have our completed row. We said that the effect of this example was the emotion. The way that the author showed the emotion was through the punctuation and words that described how something was, or the dialogue tag. And the reader used the technique of reading faster and louder to show that excitement. So when you come into class today, the expectation is that this first row is completed. We are going to go straight into groups today to finish up this last row and probably this first row. I will see you in class. Goodbye.